Well, kia ora tātou. Just a big thanks, of course, to all of you for coming out today. It's a whirlwind time for me at the moment. On Monday I was in Whangarei. On Tuesday I was in Nelson. On Wednesday I was in Papatoi. On Thursday I was in Wellington, down at the front of the Beehive telling Jacinda that she's on notice. And today I'm here in my home rohe and I'm hanging on by a thread. What's that good old saying? The spirit is willing, but the flesh is a bit tired. But it's, but I am energised to be here with our whānau here in my home rohe. As you would have heard in my mihi today, that I whakapapa to Ngāti Maniapoto in Waitomo, and also to Ngāti Pahuwera at the tip of the Hawke's Bay. And but my wife, my children, all of my children whakapapa here by way of Dāgavu, or Tūrei Marae, by way of Kaihu, by way of Tony Bay, by way of here with Ngāti Whātua. So, even though I am an import, I am whānau, because all my adult life, I've been connected very closely to Te Kahika. 5 years ago, my wife and I made the decision that we would make Te Kahika our home, and it's been the best decision we've ever made. We lived in South Kaipara before we moved up to Pātaua, and that's of course a part of Te Kahika as well, but I kind of believe that Whangarei kind of represents Te Pito, Te Nāko o Te Hino, as they would say in Tahiti, but or Te Whenua as we say here in Aotearoa. And that is kind of like, this is the hub to, and not just the doorway, but the hub to the rest of Northland. I'm very proud to announce that last week I announced that I'd be contesting the Te Kahika Māori seat. And it came after long deliberation. My people from Waikato Tainui and Maniapoto wanted me down there. I had the Taki Tumu Council give me all the should we say, endorsement and encouragement to stand in Taki Tumu Waka. But my heart is here. My kids are here. My wife's from here. My home is here. My life is here. And in the 5 years that I've been here, I've been continuously disappointed by what's happening to our part of Aotearoa. Whangarei is rapidly diminishing. How many times do you walk through the mall in Whangarei and you see our rangatahi Māori walking around with nothing to do? Walking around without jobs, hapu, and seemingly that they're believing that they don't have hope or they don't have direction, and that is an imposed lie. Because if I can grow up in the State House in Whangarei with a solo mum, without my dad, and go on to things, then everyone else can as well. And what we need to do, we need to have a paradigm shift. But the leadership from a political point of view has got to be a servant for the people. Not someone who expects to be served by the people. And in my view, all of the MPs in the House of Representatives down in Parliament have done a great job of allowing the government system to serve them, and not them serving the people of Aotearoa. The central issues, as I see them in Te Kahika, revolve around the things that have been affecting our people up here for years, and in the last 5 years I've seen it very much so up close. And that is housing. Yeah. You know, this government in its last election run-up promised everything for our people. We had the number 2 of the Labour Party, Calvin Davis, from up Kaitaiaway, promising that he as the Minister of Tourism, and also the number 2 in the Labour Party, that he was going to get things done. Not one thing. Matua Shane, my dear friend, and I still love the man, has done a great job of ditching out the PGF fund lollies, but what has that done for our people on the streets? Nothing. What has it done? Nothing. It's done nothing, and what's happened now is, of course, NZ First, they've had that money taken off them, that putia, now it sits in the envelope down in Parliament to be dished out as part of the post-COVID-19 crisis putia for economic recovery. And that's stuck in the pipeline. And Māori across New Zealand, Aotearoa, are getting hoodwinked by this government to believe if they do what Jacinda says and be nice little Māoris, they're going to get their slice of the cake. And it's a lie. It's a lie. Because if we take that putia today and we support these guys that are in government right now, we are selling out our mokapuna's mokapuna. We'll go into that in a second. But housing. When I announced my candidacy and announced the rally about 2 weeks ago on a Sunday down in Tamaki Makaurau in Logan Campbell Centre, I was amazed that more than 2,500 people turned up for that. When I walked out on stage and saw those people looking back at me, it was one of the most frightening experiences I've ever had. My heart went chukunk, chukunk, chukunk. Because I know that there's expectation of me. I know it. I know it. But when I started talking about housing in Te Tokiro, I had to take a deep breath because I felt myself getting emotional about it, and I had to swallow hard and stop myself from having a tangi wero in front of 2,500 people. Because it is true that our people, hundreds of whānau right now, are living in cars, cow sheds, coal caravans, tree huts. Can you believe that? Tree huts. This is in Indonesia, Borneo, where they do live in tree huts. This is Aotearoa. This is Te Tai Tokiro, with an MP that's number 2 in the government, in the Labour Party. Now, I met Calvin about 15 years ago, and I must admit, I used to like Calvin a lot. I met him the other week at the airport, and I gave him a hard time. And he's changed. His ahua wairua has changed. I didn't recognise him, maybe because I was giving him a hard time, but he felt different to me. And I believe that Te Tai Tokiro needs somebody that knows what it's like to start at the bottom of the heap. We don't, one of the interesting things, and I had one of my dear friends, she's a businesswoman here in Whangarei, Māori. She said to me, what the problem is, Billy, in Parliament, in terms of Māori parliamentary members, is that they're all middle, upper class Māori. And they actually don't know much more than a Pākehā person about what's going on within Te Ao Māori. And that's not an indictment on me. It's just that you don't know what you don't know. Pono? Yeah. And I've been at the bottom. I've been at the very bottom. But I've now, through the blessings of the Lord, hard work, determination, I pulled my bootstraps up and got to where I am today with my beautiful wife and my family. But what I want to do is that I want to help all of our whānau up in Te Tai Tokiro take that next step into economic development. I want them not only to be in social housing. You see, social housing whānau is an entrapment. Why is it an entrapment? Because when you go into social housing, they put you in these pohara homes that are unhealthy to live in, the cheapest quality you can find, and then what do? You just pay this cheap rent to the government, and you will never, ever own your own home, ever. And that, to me, is the trap. Because they get our people on benefits, give you accommodation supplement, and they use that to pay your social housing home, and you go nowhere. And yet, I've worked on a housing project for the last probably about 9-10 months, but housing has been something I've been interested in for quite some time. And I believe that if the government was serious about helping our people, they would help our people to go into homes that they have a mortgage for, that they can afford, and that they pay off, and they earn their right to own the home, but not these kakapohara homes that they build, ones that will last decades and decades and decades, that are healthy to live in, and that they, when they are ready to go haere moi, they can give it to their mokapono and their children to live in. And what is that called? Papakainga. What's that called? Our whare tupuna. That's tikanga right there. That's Māori. What's happening to us here in state houses and social houses, that ain't Māori. That's not how we work. And so what I want to do, and I've already been working on it for months, God knows what's happening ahead of me, because I've been working on this mahi for ages around housing, and now I know what to do with it. And I've got people right now that are prepared to help me to put our whānau into their own homes, but you don't get it for free, because you never ever appreciate something if it's given to you without no effort. So we want to give our people mana to know that they can earn equity. Sweat equity is as important as monetary, but we've got formula that we can put our people in to houses that they can own. And I'm not talking about putting us all in 300 blimmin', village homes, so-called, where everyone's pohara and everyone's got the same problems. No, I'm talking about everyone spread out amongst everyone else in the community. Don't put us all in one spot and say that's the Maori part of town. No, I'm not talking about that at all. But I'm talking about once you start to own your first property, you are on the economic development ladder. And that's how I did it. If I hadn't done it, I wouldn't have what I have today. That's how you do it. But this government and other governments and the Māori MPs have failed our people because they're happy to have us trapped in social housing. And I'm ashamed to say that our number 2 Māori MP in the Labour Party has failed our people, like all the other MPs. He's not the only one. He's not the only one. I don't want to pick on our bro Kelvin. But he hasn't done the mahi. He hasn't done the mahi. E te mahi tuarua. Second thing that we're going to do up here, we're going to get the Māori businesses well supported. I'm sick of te pori kōkiri. Te pori kōkiri. What's the motto of the T.M.K? Realising Māori potential. What a load of crop. I've dealt with te pori kōkiri. I've dealt with them. And they have upper class Māori, kupapa, I roto te tari o te pori kōkiri ki Pōneke. And they don't know what it's like at the bottom. Many of them don't. And again, it's not an indictment. You don't know what you don't know. But for me, in regards to Te Tai Tokiro, we will set up our own economic centre that is going to serve us. Because Northland Inc. have always the same type of Māori in there as well. Upper class Māori. Nothing wrong with the upper class Māori. Nothing wrong with that. But it's a different ahua in these people. They just feel different when they don't know what it's like to be without. They don't know. So the mahi is a hard mahi to do, but don't suck the people in, thinking that you're gonna serve them, and don't dish it up. Don't do that. So economic development helping our Māori businesses that are getting ravished by the COVID-19 hoax. And I'm not saying that the disease is a hoax, not for a second. The disease is real. What I'm saying is that the consequences that they're imposing on us, that's where the rubber hits the road, and that's the stuff that's bad. That's going to destroy us, and we're going to go into that again. So economic development, jobs. We talk about jobs, it's always the big go-to thing from politicians. More jobs, but how? How? Show me how you're going to give our people more jobs. You know what? I tell you one of the ways that we're going to do it. We're going to moderate social welfare. And what I mean by that is we have our people that are career welfare people. If you're mauiwi, your tinana is broken, that's not a problem. I get it. But when you have 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds that have been on the dole for 5 years, kaore. And what we need to do is, with our unproductive Māori, whenua Māori that's sitting there, we need to turn it into what? What we always used to do, marakai. Marakai projects. And that's when you turn your whenua into production. The landowners get putia for it. They can employ our own whānau in there to work in it. 2 things happen. 1, you feed your own people. Number 2, you create an industry because you're selling your produce to people that want it. And you know what? I've already got the contacts. Who knows our Raymond Tipini? You all know Raywin, Tipine? She's a wonderful, wonderful lady, Raywin. She's got a Marakai project. She's got for Te Tai Tokerau. It's called Kaianuku, the mahi, and that's around whenua utilisation. And it's awesome, and she's struggling like mad to get the funding for it. Because why? I'll tell you something. Because they know that she knows me. And so Labour Party rang up and said, hey, is that Billy Te Kahika working with you? And you know what that part means? That means if that's a suggestion that if I'm working with her, well, I should ki atu patu. So these Marakai projects are good, but also looking at our Māori tourism, how that's properly channeled into this massive cruise industry that we know used to be there. So economics of jobs and finding out from the grassroots, working with the small businesses, how to employ more of our people. That's how it's done. It's the small medium enterprises across Aotearoa that get it done. So I'm really delighted that with media here, over the next week we're going to be going to all these big companies, you know, the kumaras over in Dagoho. Hopefully get a bag of those. They're expensive, so I'm going to do a good speech and I might pull out me some kumara. But I want to find out how we can get our people, not just in these training scenarios where our kids go into these training things and they put them through these courses, after courses, pop them out back on the dole. You know, that's not the way. What you got to do is you got to have work-based training when they're in jobs getting putia, and if they don't do that, then they go into the military or something like that. That's what I did it late in life at 28. But we've got to get our people moving. You know, we've got to give them that inner, the Cook Island Māori word is mua. It's like ahua to us, that working ahua, that pride ahua, you know. And because mana motohaki and tino rangatiratanga is about having options, and they start with having some money and a job. That's how you do it. But the system has corrupted that one strong ahua that we had in us. It's corrupted us. I know it has. But what we need to do in Te Tai Tokerau is have an MP that will fight for the systems that we're going to need for our people to express their sovereignty at the individual level, at the whānau, at the hapu, at the iwi, at the runanga level. But through proper consultation and working stuff that's practical, not just ticking the box, because that's tokenism. And our people, not all, but most of our people, I hate to say it, I'll be kinder. Some of our people in these jobs in government are just happy to tick the box. And that's not helping our kids. Housing, economics. The third thing over here that we want to do is that we want to create I believe, a local taumata that's a roving taumata throughout Te Tai Tokerau, and that starts way up the top amongst Ngāti Kuri, way down the bottom, back to our whānau at Ngāti Whātua, ki o Rake, me Ngā Te Whānau, or Ngā Maunga Whakahi, or Kaipara, you know, all around the rohe, up to Uria Hou, to, of course, Ngāti Maruhiri, Ngāti Wai, Ngāti Rehua. I know all the whānau well, all the way up through all the iwi up north. We need to have a proper taumata system where the issues are made public. Why? So that MPs that meant to serve you know what the taki is. They know what the hara is, they know what the problems are, and together as a whānau, not in isolation. You see, politicians dream stuff up that they think you want, that they think you need. That's not how it's done. Noho is how it's done. Yes. Noho. That's how it's done. Whakapiri together to talk to these issues. Talk about all of the issues. Youth suicide, youth pregnancy, getting that crap out of our head. All these topics that people try and push under the bed and pretend it's not all happening. Well, we can't do that anymore. We need to deal with this so that our people can advance. Oh, I just said that phrase. Oh, good. I wasn't aiming for it. So that's, again, giving ourselves our mana motohaki is really what I'm about. It's totally what I'm about. And this slogan that we attach to my campaign, whawhai mō te tai tokerau. We need to fight for our rohe. And you know what? I've lost so many friends It's not even funny since this kaupapa started for me. But I'm sick to death of everyone dancing around the subjects. I'm sick to death of people that get paid in these well-paid jobs, not working for our people. And in fact, one of our matua, where is he? He's somewhere back there, just said to me a minute ago, he said that the hui that I had at Motatau with Matua Tohe and those proud sovereigns that were up there, they were surprised that I would be bothered to go to Motatau to have a hui like that. That I couldn't get my shoes dirty, which I did polish immediately after that. yeah. Mary's already given me my dress list for next week. Gum boots is like, yeah. But they were surprised that I value Matua Tohe and those sovereign people that much of Motatau that I would go up there. And I'm astounded by that. Because who the heck am I not to go there if I want to serve the people? Who am I not to want to do that? Because you are all used to people like that. Yeah. That won't, what's that old saying? You know what someone is when they go home to the marae and whether they do the dishes in the kitchen. Hey? That's the litmus test, eh? It is, eh? Problem is when I go home they won't let me in the kitchen. Can I have a go trying to cut? No. All my uncles at there sharpening their eyes and I'm watching them keen as to have a go at a beef. No, I'll lose my guitar playing fingers. And so really, whawhai mō te tai tokiro is a fitting campaign slogan because we need to fight for our people up here. I'm sick of us being the poor end. And you know what, I tell you what, the same issues exist in te tai Rāwhiti and all my whanaunga down there, they're suffering hard and ignored. They are. If you look at the 7 seats, the 7 Māori seats, just look at it. Just look at it. During the crisis, down in Te Waipounamu, 3,500 whānau needed help during the COVID-19 crisis. And it was that bad that out of that 3,500, 500 whānau at least were Pākehā that they're allowed to come in. And I think that's beautiful. I really do. So te kupunga or te Waipounamu. My uncle Mark Solomon, he runs that, and he said to me, what an incredible amount of work that they had to do to help whānau eat during the COVID-19 crisis. So really my platforms as your candidate for MP are very, very, very simple. And that is, number one, to find out what the issues are. I think I've got a pretty good sense of them, but noho of them, kōrero about them, hui a rohe, hui a iwi, find out how we defeat the challenges that we face as a people up here. They say te tai tokiro starts so far south, and that's true, it does, it really does. But really, once you go over those Brindouins, or you turn left towards Maungatoroto, then everything changes. The quality of everything changes, And it's a shame again that Matua Winston Peters, he whakapapos directly to Ngāti Wai, hasn't done more for our people. What the kōrero that he promised to our people. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I always say in my live broadcast, don't listen to what politicians say, watch their behaviour. Watch their behaviour, that's how you know who you've got in Parliament. So that's why my campaign's called Whāwhai mō te tai tokiro, because I will fight for our people up here. And the irony of it is, you know what, and there's a truth in what I'm about to say, it's always the imported Māoris that work twice as hard for the people than your own. And we've seen it in our all here down the line. We've seen it every time. Isn't that a funny and ironic thing? But my heart is here, my toto is here, my whānau is here, and that's why I decided that I wanted to run Te Tai Tokiro for you. Now, moving on from that into the bigger issues that we're involved with, I want to say very, very clearly that Advanced New Zealand Public Party right now is the only movement that is dealing with the COVID-19 scenario and also dealing with the fact we have a communist government that's going to, if they have their way, they are going to destroy our country, destroy our freedoms, destroy Te Ao Māori. Why? How come? Because this COVID-19 health crisis is being used to introduce into Aotearoa the agenda programs of the United Nations called Agenda 21, Sustainable Development, and Agenda 2030. These are not conspiracies, they're not conjectures, they are real. They are real. And all these Maoris down in Parimata are saying nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. And right now, because of this COVID-19 crisis, which we know is only as lethal as the common flu, all of the top scientists around the world are saying it now. They're saying that this COVID-19 is even less dangerous than a normal flu. If you are mauiwi, if you have a comorbid health situation, just like me, I had pneumonia, a collapsed lung, pleurisy all at once, that just about killed me. If I get something lethal again in my system, it could kill me. Am I worried about it? No, because I eat well, normally. I sleep well, normally. And I live on vitamins and I do the good stuff, right? I'm not running and all that because I'm running for planes and all that, but not out there running. But I keep myself fit and healthy. I don't have any fear of this disease whatsoever, right? But if you're sick and you're older in life, you've got to be careful, eh? With any of it, whether it be catching pneumonia or the flu, it'll kill you. But what's happening with this COVID-19 is that they are wanting to use this to bring in Agenda 21. Okay, what is Agenda 21? I'll give you the 2-minute rundown. Number one, it will control what you eat and what and how and what you grow with. That's your Marakai projects, gone. Rumua, gone. Second thing it controls your health and medical options. Goodbye, Rumua. Goodbye. Third thing that it's going to control is how you educate your kids. Goodbye, kura kaupapa. Yeah. Goodbye. Because they'll give you the curriculum on how you're going to teach tikanga and te reo Māori. They'll tell you how it is, and I guarantee you it's going to be your te reo Māori today is all about globalism and United Nations and how great they are. The fourth thing that they're going to do is that they're going to control what you build. Oh, they're already doing that on your whenua. They're doing it right now. Water collection. They will control how you collect water. Not just through the bore or from your awa or your creek, but from up there. So water tanks will become a thing of the past unless they regulate it. So they'll regulate that. They'll regulate what we do with our country and where you live. And you know what they want to do? And this is the interesting thing as well. Under these programs, they're going to repurpose everyone where we live out in the provinces into high-density, city-dwelling situations. That's the plan. And they're doing it now. This government is writing law into by-council law and councils that means you can't build out, you've got to build up. They've taken all the restrictions on heights. So what? You can live in big Hong Kong style, 40, 50, 60 story building blocks where your kids don't even touch a blade of grass. But the other thing they want to do is mandatory vaccination. And I don't know about you, but the idea of having a Bill Gates needle in the arms of my babies is something I'm not going to stand for. And you know what? If there's one thing that'll push us into a civil war here, it'll be that. Yeah. And that's what I'm fighting against. That's another thing I'm fighting against. Yeah. This movement, we are fighting against that. Because our tinana are as much of the treaty, Article 3, as any other issue to do with whenua, muri whenua, any of that. Tinana is as much a part of our treaty covenant as anything else. And our babies, and we as their parents, should have the right that God has given us to decide whether we want a needle in our baby's arms or not. Tika? Yeah. And it upsets me when you have doctors like Dr. Lance O'Sullivan who says that we should have the choice taken away from us. It disturbs me when our Ministry of Health, through Dr. Ashley Bloomfield, the Director General of Ministry of Health, who's unelected, is telling us that we better get ready for mass vaccination. Drop dead, Dr. Ashley Bloomfield. Yeah. And yet this same Dr. Ashley Yet this same Ashley Bloomfield was on a Zoom call Hui last week in Tairawhiti speaking to our Ngāti Porou whānau, sucking them in with the kōrero o te wā, which was, it's all good, COVID-19 is great, get ready for the vaccination and paki paki mai, Māoris. Paki paki mai. Not us in Te Tai Tokiro. Not us. And really, not us throughout all 7 Māori seats. And it astounds me, Pāti Māori aren't even attacking it. And in fact, John Tamahere during his mayoral candidacy said we should all get vaccinated. John Tamahere. Ko wai koe. Who are you to say this? We get our babies vaccinated. Just because you manage your millions of dollars to whānau ora for Tāmaki Makaurei. Who the hell are you? And these people right now in government, right now whānau, they are working at collapsing our economy. Look at this lady here. Look at her. Her business, second mortgage. She's taken out because of COVID-19 to keep her business alive. And I tell you what, that we have 15 pieces of evidence. In this phone here, I've got linked military documents that tell us they've been planning for military door knocking and testing since March 25th. March 25th. March 25th. When they made out, if we do it hard, do it fast, and do it once, Kate Te Pai Hoki, we'll all be good and everything will open up again. And they're still lying to us today. They knew on March 25th that they were going to task the military to do the work of civilian police. Be afraid. Wake up. Yeah. Calvin's not saying anything about it. Winston's not saying anything about it. My dear friend Matua Shane, he's not saying anything about it. None of them are saying anything about it.
You're the only one saying it, Billy.
Yeah, keep saying it. Loud.
So what we need to do, whānau, we need to make some decisions. But before you make those decisions about us, you need to know what we stand for. What we stand for is pretty simple. And those of you that have seen any of the rallies that we've had will know that we stand for number one. In fact, I'll turn it around so you can see it. I'll do it like this. It's normally on a big screen, but the little one. Democracy. If we don't have democracy, we'll never have mana motuhake Māori, ever. Because if they control what we eat, what we grow, how we educate our kids, our health, what we do with our whenua, what we're not allowed to do with our whenua, what we do with our education system, what we do, because these agendas, Agenda 21, are all about centralising everything through the United Nations funnel into a centralised system. That's why everything's been centralised. And what happened in Invercargill on Monday when I met the Mayor, Tim Shadbolt, down there, is that he was telling me that the government has gone into the council, taken money off them, taken decision making off them, wants to take they've got a, in fact it was mentioned today, you know how it says 3 waters here? They've got the 3 waters program down in Southland. And that is your rainwater for drinking, your drinking water, your sewage water, and your wastewater, stormwater. And what they want to do, check this out, this government wants to take control of those back to Wellington and then have a private corporation run it for you. That's what they want to do, and that's what they've done in Tāmaki Makaurei with Water Safe Auckland, Water Care. That's what they've done. This is not conjecture. And what happens when you have a private company run your water for you? You're paying private company prices, and they go up, and they go up, and they go up. That's where this government. DHBs are now going to be centralised. They're not going to be making decisions about your rohi health. Wellington will. But Wellington will make those decisions based on what's happening at the United Nations, not on what's happening on the ground down here. And that's not acceptable. The other thing that we're talking about is government integrity. We must have government honesty and integrity back. It must be set up so that the government will serve the people, not the people serving the government. Public safety, that means all of this. So here we've got economics. We've got economics, environmental sovereignty, getting rid of 1080 out of our whenua, out of our water. Stop killing the millions of innocent animals that aren't the pests. Get rid of that. stop fluoride in the water. With our medical health system, I want to investigate Whangarei. Yep, they are whaia. They are knockoff. Investigate Whangarei, but also bring up proven natural health options as being a viable option. Because one thing that the Bible teaches us, and that we believe as a whānau as well, is that true human health, it does not exist at the end of a needle or the swallowing of a pill alone. We know as Māori that rongoa is an immune system strengthener. It's a body cleanser, it's a blood cleanser. I drink kawa tea. I've got a forest of it, so I love drinking it. But we need to protect these things, because with the United Nations, they want to destroy our options to have rongoa and natural health options, and we're not going to stand for that. In here, I've got Treaty of Waitangi, Te Treaty of Waitangi. Why did I put that in there? Because we need this document, and we need it to be put in the Constitution, because right now, there is no Constitution set up that protects us as Māori or Tauiwi, or our whānau Pākehā. It doesn't protect anyone. We need to get in there, we need to make sure our document, that is our agreement with who? The Crown, not the United Nations, is enshrined and protected and defended. Because they know if they can get rid of it, they got us. But my kōrero is this, is that the Treaty of Waitangi is now a document that our tūpuna has given to all people of Aotearoa. I tell you why. Because right now, it is the only document, and don't get me wrong, He Wakaputanga is important to me, and these 12 founding documents, but the treaty is the recourse document that says it's a covenant between us and the Crown, not the United Nations, and all New Zealanders can come up behind it and be a part of it. And you know what, Pākehā people, our whānau are waking up to it and accepting it, and they bang, the light's on. And I've been saying this since day one, from Invercargill, up north, everywhere, and people have gone, you're right, I hated the treaty. I get it, I understand it. So we need to come in behind that. Under here, we've got all these other issues about monetary reform, referenda. We want to bring that system in so that we make decisions as a people for the big decisions that affect our country. On the bottom, we have democracy, tied into national sovereignty and independence. That's why it's at the bottom, national independence, and that's why democracy is on the top. Because if you don't have democracy as number one, underpinned by what? By sovereignty at the bottom, national sovereignty, you will never have anything in the middle. And that's what they're wanting to destroy, whānau, our democracy and our national sovereignty. And that's what Jacinda Ardern is committed to. She stood at that Bill and Melinda Gates event last year in New York, and she committed New Zealand to fully entrenching Agenda 2030. Without talking to us. Who the hell is she to do this? Well, it's going to destroy Te Ao Māori like this. To destroy Kiwiana lifestyles. Who the heck is she?
Yeah.
And so I stood out on the steps of the beehive yesterday afternoon, and in the front of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, with a loud voice with my microphone and out, I said, no, we won't be taking this. We will be changing it back to a democracy. And Jacinda, you're out of here.
Yes.
But I need your help to do this. I need you to do some things for me, please, whānau, before I introduce Mary, who's going to tell you about what we're going to do in the next week. Then I'm just letting you know you're going to do that, by the way. I'm so proud of this young lady. I talk about her all the time to our national team. This is Mary. Yeah. And I need you to do a couple of things. Number one, if you're not enrolled to vote, please do it. Get all your whānau enrolled to vote. Please do it. Reminded yourself, enroll, because I'm not in either yet. You know why I'm not enrolled? Because I haven't believed one party, I haven't believed one politician. Not one. Not one. Not one. I don't like politicians. My wife knows we don't have anything to do with politics. But now is the time to stand up, because if we don't, Aotearoa is gone, Te Ao Māori's gone, Whakapapa Māori's gone, Hauora Māori's gone. All of those things that we take as part of our culture are gone. Please enroll if you haven't get ready to vote on the day and vote for me. This is the only seat that I'm standing as a candidate on my own, under my own name, as under New Zealand Public Party, because I believe I'm going to win it. I do.
Yeah.
But I need your help out there. The second thing I need you to do, whānau, and Miri will talk about that before we close. And what I'll do, Miri, if you could take over in a second, then I'll close after you. But I need you to spread the word. We've got all these billboards coming up. We've got all of these, we've got flyers. If you didn't know, we've started our campaign today. And there's one in the big way. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And can I share something with you? A beautiful Pākehā whānau in Auckland is helping to sponsor my Te Kahika campaign. That's how much everybody knows that we're one whānau and we need to do this together. You know, this is not a race issue. This is an everyone issue. This is a defensive issue. You know, we need to speak to our gang member brothers and sisters and say there's a better way forward. Give us your vote. Support this kaupapa because, you know, whatever patches on your back doesn't matter at the end of the day. Because we've got to get these guys out.
Exactly.
We've got to. I'll tell you something really funny just quickly. I was in Hamilton the other week doing a hui, actually in Te Awamotu, and I was getting my back and neck cracked at my mate who's a chiropractor in Hamilton. And I walked out of his surgery, walking across to get something from the petrol station across the road, and I saw this huge Maori bro in this little tiny car, little Japanese car, brand new car, beautiful car, but he was massive. You know, he was like, how did he squeeze into that? You know, and he's driving along with this, and he sees me, goes, Billy, kill it. And I didn't know this because I went into the petrol station. And he turns around, comes back into the petrol station, I walk out, and there's this gigantic giant of a tainui standing there with his little camera going, can I have a shot, bro? his name was Wee. And he got talking, and I said, what do you do, bro? He goes, oh, I'm the president of the Mongol mob. Kia ora, brother, kia ora. He goes, oh yeah, I've been telling all the whānau, bro, everyone across the motu, they got to vote for you. And I was going, bro, you're onto it. But, you know, you can see I'm neutral, I've got red and blue. Neutral colours. Atua is my gang, I'm in the gang of heaven. And he was completely onto all of us, all of it. He was onto it, you know, and it was really funny because he said to me, no, bro, I don't beat my kids up and I don't beat my whānau, bro, because he knows what I stand for. He knew what I stand for, and we had that whakawhiti kōrero, you know, and manaakitanga going between us, and it tells me that our whānau, that in those things like that, we can reach them, but you got to give them hope, you got to give them pathways, and you got to make it happen, you know, in the right way. But Whānau, I'm going to pass it over to Miri to give you guys a brief on how you might be able to help. She's the brains, I'm just the mouth. We'll pass it on. Please, Miri.
I think it's quite basic. I think, you know, what we stand for is true unity. We need to work together. We need to get the word out. It doesn't matter how. Talk to your whānau, pop it. You know how we do it. We call them for a coffee. That's what we do. We say we're going to be 10 minutes, we're going to be 2 hours. And that's how we do it. But this is really important, and we need to understand that it's really important because it's not about us. We're setting this up for our kids. We're standing for our babies. Okay? And that's right up there. This is why we do it. Okay? We forget everything else. We forget about all the issues that they're trying to make you focus on. Focus on the babies. It starts at home. Okay? Everything starts at home. Look after your babies, look after yourself, look after your home. Okay? And that's reaching out to family.
That's right.
reach out to your family, have that kōrero. There's no real strategy to this campaign. I think the way we're going to go at it is to go back to all the people. Okay, where I'm from Kaitaia. I was born and raised in Kaitaia. My whānau are from Te Uri o Tai. I am Pawaringa, okay? I know what it's like. They're all my whānau. So I'm calling out to all my rangatira. I am rangatahi. I'm coming home. I want everyone to come forward, to unite, to have this discussion. Bring our babies in, because what we stand for is to protect our babies.
Yep.
Okay? Look after our land, look after our forest, look after all living creatures, and most of all, everyone as a collective. It doesn't matter what you look like, what your background is, okay? We are all living beings, and that's what matters. And it's going to be pretty hard. I need that tautoko from every single person here to have that kōrero with all your whānaus. We will be going right into the heart of Dargaville, okay? And they're warriors. That is what they are. They work the land. They have been for many, many years. We need to go back there and talk to our people, okay? We're going to go back to our rangatira, our kaumata kuia, okay, that has been walking the front lines down Queen Street, okay, for issues like the Dome Valley, you know, the toxic waste that they're putting into our whenua, okay. I'm going back to my auntie and ask for that tautoko. Tell us, take us there, show us. These are the issues that we want to know about. And that's not just from that whānau over there. You know, the heart for me is, I'm from Kaitaia. I was born up there, and I grew up around some really, really hard times. I'm thankful for my mother. Without her, I wouldn't be here today. I really wouldn't. All my whānau up there, all my machu side, all my marsh whānau. I could go on forever, but you all know who you are, you know who I am. Yeah, I think truly this is about reconnecting, making that bond, bringing our people in, and telling them that this isn't a joke, this isn't a game, this is no longer something that you can ignore. It's there and it is present. So put everything aside, okay, and worry about what truly matters. And everyone knows what matters. And for him, they're right here. It's tamariki, okay? That's what it's about. So, yeah, whānau, we're going to go, how we like to say in the north, straight up the guts. And yeah, whānau, I can't say much more. I think we've got a real busy schedule.
So what we're going to do today is that we're going to write up our schedule for next week. We're going to post it on our website nzpp.org.nz, so you know where we are. So you can pānui it out, pānui, and getting that out to all the whānau. Because what we don't have in the terms of big money and big network like helping them, we have mako and we have people. That's what we have. And that's why in 8 weeks, whānau, 8 weeks we are now the third largest political party in New Zealand. We have well over 6,000 members. There are dozens of teams across the motu that are working for us right now. And we've had well over 1.5 million people engagements in the message. We've had almost a couple of million people view what we're saying, and people are waking up. But you know what? I want to send a message home big time about Te Tai Tokero. I want to send it big time that we will decide our future. We will set things up the way we want it for our rohe. We will look after our own issues and get them in the House of Representatives and get the solutions that we want for our people. So I just want to thank you all. I want to thank the marae. I want to thank you the whānau o Whangarei marae. Kia ora whaia hira for your kaikaranga today. Those kaumātua that did the mihi today. Also matua tohi, who came down from Watatau to tautoko our hui today. And I want to thank you all so very, very much for coming in today. For those of you that want to join our campaign team, Mary's got her booklet ready to sign you up and to know. Please, I'd love to have a chat with you about the billboards. My billboards are getting finalised today and getting printed up over the weekend, and I'm hoping by about Tuesday that I'll be up here ready to go overnight and freak them all out.
Yeah.
I really thank you, Fire. Yes, please.
I'm right on the corner, so
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you. So, before we close off, are there any questions from the floor? Please.
On this conclusion from the Billy Te Kahiki's meeting, and yes, it was a good meeting. He really did a good speech at time. I saw ended the video just before people were asking the questions. I couldn't keep going, but unfortunately I don't really like having videos to be too long, especially with the amount of subscribers I have. So yeah, people, that's why it's going to be on YouTube, and man, yeah, no, Billy did really put on a good show. He actually, and you see this logo there, he actually gave me a t-shirt. So Billy, I thank you for this t-shirt. Yeah, Billy Te Kahika, I thank you for this t-shirt. I am wearing it now. I actually took off my other shirt and put this one on, and yes, now I'm actually heading home. But first I might actually visit my friend's place or something. So yeah, and there's a lot of signs up as well. There's Twin Species Back to the Future, and there's the Cinder Arden sign there says, let's keep moving. Well, let's keep moving it to bankruptcy into Agenda 21. Yeah, Billy had mentioned about that as well, and which he just did it over at the meeting. So that was great there, and he really did put on a good show. And that's the one thing is on September the 19th, yeah, on September 19th, let's make that day of victory once Billy Te Kahika gets in. Let's make that day of victory. In which we just got like around just over 6 weeks to go. Yes, let's make that happen and get Billy Te Kahika. Yeah, Billy Te Kahika in. Let's get it in. Make this happen, and let's make New Zealand great again. Yes. And well, this is all I gotta say for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's Matthew Vella, sign off, over and